Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining me on this show. I am coming to this show very, very happy. Very, very happy. I'll tell you why. This struggle that Ambazonians got involved in 2016, thanks to the lawyers and the other groups that joined them, and um, and the Ambazonian people who very quickly realized that the lawyers' struggle was also their struggle, and went to the streets. Paul Biya did what he did, declared a war on them, and since then has been killing them. If there's something that our forefathers did not realize, and maybe the people in the 60s, the 50s and 60s did not realize, is that they needed to join the struggle and that their voices were as important as the voices of the leadership. And so they did not join. But this time it is different. I am so happy that the Ambazonians joined the struggle and La République mismanaged the struggle right from the start. They came out saying, oh, there's no Anglophone problem. Tchiroma came on television and said, completely banned the discussion of Ambazonian issues on television. And I want to thank my South African brothers who very quickly created SCBC and the whole country, in fact, I want to include even people from out of Ambazonia, including the people in La République. They started listening to SCBC. That was the only outlet that was really speaking to what was going on in the country. La République got itself involved in shutting down conversation. They shut down the internet. You couldn't hear the word Southern Cameroons on the public waves or from the mouths of anybody. That's why you heard Weba in Parliament talk about West Cameroon instead of talking about Southern Cameroons, or let alone Ambazonia. But today everybody is calling Ambazonia by its name. That was the first victory. That was the first victory, international victory, really. Because the people in La République du Cameroun refer to Ambazonians as Ambazonians even more than some of the people who go out there pretending on talking on our behalf. You see, they bite their lips. They talk about Southern Cameroons and then add Ambazonia to it. No, please, talk about Ambazonia. Let Ambazonia be Ambazonia and La République du Cameroun be La République du Cameroun. Or if you just want to say Ambazonia and Cameroon, I think that's even acceptable. You know? But what I wanted to really say is that I'm very happy because with all the La République blunders, our people got very, very educated, including the citizens of La République du Cameroun, about the issue of Ambazonia. They were telling lies. Before then, they were telling lies that, oh, those people over there are Biafrans, you know, they were part of our country, they were part of our German Cameroon, all lies. Ambazonia has never been part of any other territory that speaks French. And the German thing, Germans were foreigners. And like Barrister Bogas very successfully argued, if you want to reclaim German Cameroon, then reclaim it and give it to the Germans, not to the French. Okay, so let's not be mixing issues. But people can mix them, but our people are not stupid. They've learned, they took time, they learned their lesson. La République helped and SCBC helped educate the people of Ambazonia about who they are, who their enemies are, what are our problems and what are the problems of the enemies. And I just want to share with you, and that's why I'm so happy tonight. Because one Ambazonian came and was a very good example of what I'm just talking about. That our people have learned. Now they know who they are and they know how to fight back. And they're fighting back in every way. And this sister that I'm going to introduce to you is, I mean, she couldn't have spoken any better than I wanted to, really. Because right from the beginning of this thing, I've been staying away because I look at this whole thing happening in La Republique as a thing about La Republique. It really has nothing to do with Ambazonia. The Bible says that anyone who puts his hands on the plow and looks behind is not fit for the kingdom. So you are either an Ambazonian fighting for the liberation of Ambazonia, or you are Pan-Cameroonese, still mingling in the politics of La Republique. I think by now we should be very clear what our struggle is. Our struggle is to free Ambazonian from the grips of La République du Cameroon and its international partners. Because to be honest with you, the people of La République du Cameroon will not be mingling in our issues. They will not be appointing foreign colonial agents in our territory, except they were aided and pushed by foreign powers that are interested in our subsoil, like Lawyer Bobga always says. They are not interested in us. They are interested in our subsoil, in our oil and the other minerals that are there. One of the things we should be very clear is that the West has developed a lot of technologies, or a civilization that cannot sustain itself by the resources on its that are in its own soil, and so they are now forced to go around the world to support a civilization which some of the specialists have said, if Africa became free, then their own standards of living would drop, and that's unacceptable. So people have gotten very educated, and I just want you to listen to this sister before I come back, and then, you know, there's not very much to add to what she says, because she says it really well, very precisely, and I can tell you, with the right perspective. Let's listen to her.
Abeko, I guess an important question. Yes, very important. So the political situation for Cameroon, Tchiroma don't, be voted president-elect. That's what he is. Even though Paul Biya can, swear in, take over, continue to be the first one, destroying the country. Tchiroma, potential he's supposed to be, una don't vote for Tchiroma. Now we get crisis where people they do want, Tchiroma and his team or whoever and his supporters them, they do want try for make sure say they vote where the elected president, president-elect becomes the president of Cameroon, right? Like for fight back, take which way he rightfully belongs to him. However, I don't understand, say this way they try for do most of the spokesperson, most of the analysis, most of the even social media bloggers and influencers them, they overtake this thing more on the English side. More on the English side means so they over make a listen some Anglophone thing to where it really involve Anglophone them. I don't oversee the message and it come across now only for English language. I don't even know how many videos I don't even say where they talk about Tchiroma, he success or he fight back or he plans or anything. I don't see that one video Tchiroma talk French where he be finna talk English before enter French. So this how come English will become so very important right now for this Cameroon situation, for this country. We all know say this, so when you do for Douala or for Yaoundé or for any other part of the country where you know be Anglophone region, you talk English, they always look down on you. In short, you even not get service if you talk for English. So how come you don't turn Nabinana, let's say this message, this thing about this, political situation gets to be transmitted a lot for English. Now so now if I get expectation this no Anglophone will fight on Naweti. Why when I talk for English? Now I need to stop because some way they get very, very irritated. Yes, very irritated because they were supposed to don't over suffer for 9 years. 9 years and above people don't suffer. They will not listen me they over involved, they don't get to over involved, they don't even get to involve at all for this whole matter. Now Francophone they are fighting in the sense where tell you will be the fight, tell you what people they be the fight, they keep for them fry in the inside oil. No man for Francophone land will ever talk one thing, let's say it concern them. People they should don't quiet, they look in amazement. So one them be the surprise, one them be the glad, so one them be the cosh. So I beg now, so Mona try to talk this Tchiroma fighting back, taking the election, wait to become the president of Cameroon. Mona try to focus on for French language. Yes, I get problem with the language, I get problem when they talk for English. It irritate me, they so now the ones seduce Anglophones and because Anglophone and they so any small thing they joke for, just as the Tchiroma can't talk English, so they fall. They say and listen to some big matter, So why they make us so now they try to seduce them, they fall for these things and are the vex. Because my people are very vulnerable at this point where they don't suffer. So any small thing they do influence them so much where because of over suffer they don't suffer. So So if you did diaspora, as a means I did a diaspora, right? So at the talk, on behalf of my people, I know say people dey down there the one for year the kind message. So ma talk on their behalf because no fit talk there for Lions then. So me I dey for diaspora, I dey talk it and say if you wey the diaspora, you want fight for Tchiroma my behalf, you want defend Tchiroma in any way, shape or form. I beg you, talk the thing for French, not talking for English because say people then like we saw with the vex and some of our people they did back home they vex. We no like I made it thing they listen to Anglophone matter, no be Anglophone matter, na Cameroon matter, and we all already know say something they for inside that country we all been for French. I don't make document Cameroon we come on our French, no English, no they. So Cameroon is a French country. May they continue, and that the bigger part of the country be French. So I don't see why the important thing about the country, this important nation situation about the country, it mostly be transmitted now for English language. Una jo ho una kanda with that in them. I know one overvex the evening. Una try to make sure say una transmit the messages them about the fight about the what una transmit that for French because the bigger people they get to really get involved for this thing, they understand the French, okay? When I try to seduce my vulnerable people, they don't suffer all this why. Any small thing that they do fall for, and they don't can. So I feel this some girl really kind of struggle for talk English. The person that was voted, the right person now it's talk for French, simple. Not the involve my people then for this thing. No consent. No consent at all. The suffer don't over. People do not over. So I give this people a break. Yes, total break. You don't need them. Thank you. If you did diaspora, sometimes I can find you. We'll fight if you fight with diaspora here. If you did diaspora, just take your time, organize yourself, fight the fight properly. Leave my people then out of this thing. Yes, my people, Anglophone them, leave them, Ambazonians, and leave them out of this whole thing. Talk the thing for French. We'll clap for una, we'll clap for una, we'll encourage una. Una one need idea them, we'll give una idea them, but una hold on for that side. I hope say this thing go clear. All right.
Okay. I think she said it all. She said it all. I was taking some notes. I'll tell you what my notes say. I took notes about her talking about spokespeople, analysts, social media bloggers, influencers, all trying to speak in English. The only thing I'm going to add here, my sister, is that if you were paying attention, there were other French analysts who were speaking French, but she's absolutely correct that the whole analysis and the whole communication, the whole messaging of Tchiroma's situation is in English, including Tchiroma himself. And the question my sister is asking, why are you speaking in English? English is not a language that La République looks with favor. They hate people who speak English. They sometimes will not serve them just because they speak English. So why are you suddenly speaking in English? Why are you suddenly speaking in English? Everything is in English now. And she predicts it correctly. What they are trying to do is they are trying to... because Ambazonians, you don't even know how you raise your profile in that colony. It's a colony. It's a very spooked colony. It's very spooked people. Spook just means afraid. With people who are afraid to even speak. But Ambazonians have shown that they can speak. They can fight. And so everybody is trying to bring the Ambazonians into the struggle, into their struggle, the struggle of a foreign country. And my sister here is saying, please leave my people alone. And she is absolutely correct. With those who say La République's fight is not our fight. And I just had to come and share what I heard from this sister. Maybe you've heard from her. I don't know what you thought listening to her. But for me, she is absolutely on the point. I have a lot of friends who differ with me, but it's something we can disagree about. And I'll say their disagreement it's not a very serious disagreement, because you know what, it is said that I'm not going to even use it because our people are just looking for breathing space. But Tchiroma hasn't promised us any breathing space. I don't know why people think that Tchiroma is a wonderful thing. The southern Cameroons is not Tchiroma's to give to us. Okay, it's not. There's so many ways. I'm going to think of which one to bring, but let me say this: it's not to Tchiroma, it's not to Paul Biya. What Paul Biya can do, and what the powers that La République and its agents have in Ambazonia is to protect it for the French and its other Western partners. That's it. And that's why you will never see how much oil they dig in our territory, how much gold they're digging. You will never see that feature somewhere. It will never feature somewhere. And that is because it is not Cameroon's property. It is not. What the job Cameroon is doing in Ambazonia is they are and I think Cameroonians will understand this, and I think Ambazonians will understand this too. You know how somebody builds a business, and I think people in the diaspora have suffered this. A lot of people I know who are investing in Ambazonia and in La République du Cameroun, what they say is that they go and invest money, build a business, hire people, and have them run the business so that they all can benefit. And what they share with me is that you give a job to people in an economy that doesn't have jobs to give people, but what they do is they steal from you. They steal from you, forgetting that they are ruining their jobs. And then you fire them, and then they don't have jobs. And I'm thinking, you know what? If you have a job, if you have a brother who has built a business and makes you the manager or gives you a job, instead of protecting that job or protecting that company or the organization so that it grows and you all make money, you instead steal from it and ruin it. And then he shuts it down, and then you go back without a job. That is exactly what La République, that is the role of La République in Ambazonia. They've given the French and their international partners have given Ambazonia for La République to run, the same as somebody will hire somebody to run their business. And La République is doing exactly what the citizens of Ambazonia and the citizens in La République are doing with people who invest in business and then employ them. And that's why they don't care. And so you will never see a balance sheet that says this is how much oil that has come from Ambazonia. No. Or from La République du Cameroun that includes Ambazonia. You will not see that. They say it's out of budget. Out of budget? Nobody is fooled. It is not Cameroon's property to say here's how much we're getting from the oil and this is where the money is going. No, it's not. The point I'm driving here is that La République's problem is not our problem, and the sister has said it really well. I have heard people say, oh, you should worry about it because what happens there may affect us. Yes, I agree. Except some of the examples they're giving me is an example that says, the Hamatan, is it the breeze? Is it Hamatan that comes? There's a season when this Hamatan comes and blows down houses. That Hamatan comes through La République, comes maybe through Central Africa. I don't know where it originates, but it sweeps through a whole region or a whole continent. So some of the examples that I've heard people give in support of why we should be involved in the politics of La République, those are the phenomena that I don't buy it. What happened in Chernobyl or it's like the wind blowing, okay? It's like the Hamatan is like tornado that sweeps through a region or a continent. So that shouldn't be the justification why we should be mingling in the politics of a country that really doesn't treat us as fellow Africans who are all struggling or who are all colonized and need to be free. They come and look at us and they think And they start calling us names. They treat us worse than colonial masters have treated us. The Germans built roads and built plantations when they came and colonized Ambazonia. The British didn't do any, they didn't spend a lot of money in building infrastructure. But they spent some money in allowing us be us. Organized societies gave our chiefs the power to rule their own people the way God created. I'll tell you one thing. If you want to rule Africa well, rule Africa the way it is. Only colonial powers come and think that it's a wonderful idea to break up Africa and destroy its natural organization. We are organized in terms of tribes. And so anybody who comes and tries to violate that really is calling for trouble. Okay? So leave our chiefs to govern their villages. And if you want to improve the chiefdoms in terms of ruling, in terms of governing their villages, that's wonderful. Don't come and say, we'll destroy the chiefs and then go and bring some foreign Bulu people to come speaking in foreign languages to them. That's a wonderful idea. No, it's not. So La République, in its stewardship of Ambazonia for foreigners, has treated us worse. So we shouldn't be mingling in their politics. Our fight right now is to get out of there. Okay, it's to get out of there. And if we get out of there as our own country, then if they need our help, we'll see what we can do with other international partners that look at that situation as something that other countries should get involved. This is not the situation. And that's why the people of Central Africa are not mingling in there. Nigerians are now mingling in there. Gabonese are now mingling in there. That's where we are. And if we're not there yet, our people are mentally already gone. And that is why I love what this sister is doing. Because basically she is saying, we are not part of those people. When we were having our own issues, when they were killing our people, they sat over there laughing at us or saying nothing or just continuing bad-mouthing us. I mean, she has so much wisdom. I don't even know where to start. I'm just doing this show because I want to say something about what she's saying. And she touched on some points. I don't even think she knows how important how do I put this? I don't even think she knows how important her conversation is and some of the issues she has highlighted in her tip without even knowing about it. You know, she talked about our people being vulnerable. What makes our people vulnerable? Our people are vulnerable because our people, educated as they are about the issues, they haven't been organized to fight. They haven't been organized to fight effectively. The people who came and tried to lead the struggle did not do what serious people would do to fight a fight that could become an intergenerational struggle like ours is. Because to free a people from a colonial struggle, it's not a 1 year thing. It's not necessarily. In fact, it could be a half a century thing. South Africa, it took South Africa from 1912 to 1994. 1912 to 1994 to free themselves from apartheid. It took South Sudan about 30 years to free themselves from Sudan. So if you come and you're part of the leadership, the first thing you do is create a movement which is deep. In basketball, you have a deep bench, okay, so that when you have an injury, there's somebody else who comes and picks up the fight or the play, so that your team doesn't lose. The leaders of Ambazonia did not do that. They came and they acted like, oh, we're already a country because we have a flag. So I'm president now, or I'm this leader now, and you're already seeing yourself in independence. You did not build a movement. You did not build a movement where if you are no longer there, that movement continues, even in a country where and I'm even a country like America. Let me say America, the most powerful country in the world. It's not all Americans that run America. The people who have said we will run America are people who have organized themselves into political parties. They have an ideology, and they have a way how they raise their money, and then they have their most charismatic message carrier. They put that person forward and say, this will be our president. And then the Americans look at it, they say, okay, is that who you want us to choose to run us, to run our country for us for the next 4 years? We didn't do that. We did not create a movement. And so when the leaders were arrested, there's no deep bench. And so the leaders of Ambazonia are now in jail, and there's nobody who feels a particular responsibility to advocate for them or to keep the struggle going. What the leaders of Ambazonia did was they went and sat and thought, well, you know, Ambazonia is Ambazonia, and we're going to pick anybody who is quote-unquote Ambazonian and make them whatever we want to make them. That's wrong. And so you see, the leadership of the struggle was scattered around the world. It entered the hands of very bad people, and they destroyed it. And now Ambazonians have no leadership. And so when my sister talks about Ambazonians being vulnerable to these people who come speaking in English because they want to get the Amber boys to come and fight their fight for them because they're cowards, at least for now. I don't know what's going to happen in the next whenever. But they're appealing to Ambazonians, and my sister is worried that Ambazonians will be vulnerable because they are not led. Ambazonians will only be vulnerable because they don't have any organized, strategic organization to come and say, hey, my people, this is not our fight. Stay out of it. And so the people in Tchiroma's team say, appeal to the Ambazonians. Make this speech in English. Don't make it in French. Eric Chinje is one of them. So if you hear all this English speaking and Tchiroma always come, it is the influence of Eric Chinje. That's my suspicion. I have been in a meeting where, even before all this came, where Eric Chinje was promoting for us, for Ambazonians to make a partnership with people of the North. I was looking at Eric Chinje, I'm like, does this man, is he an Ambazonian? Obviously, Eric Chinje is not an Ambazonian. He's an 11 province person. And so, look, Ambazonia, you look, our people need a lot of help and a lot of education. Our people are very, very, they're very smart people. They're people who are willing to fight, but they have never really had leadership. Foncha was not what Barrister Boga calls a blue blood Ambazonian. And so he compromised our struggle. He compromised it. I was listening to a piece where they had an interview at the UN about our issue. They asked Ahidjo, what are you saying about that this session of the UN is held to talk about the situation between Southern Cameroon and La République? He said, well, I'm here to speak about La République. That's the one that is very interesting to me, about how La République du Cameroun and the Southern Cameroons at the time, what happens there is in the hands of a committee. So we can wait for that, but I am really interested in what happens to La République du Cameroun. They went and put the microphone to Foncha. In fact, he said a lot of things. Oh, we are here thank you for letting me speak. We are here, we thank the world, that blah, 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 blah. He didn't say We are here to make sure that the Southern Cameroon has its independence. Foncha didn't say it. I'm going to play that clip.
Cameroons, also in Western Africa, attached to Nigeria. Population, 1.5 million. The problem? 1960 has been set for the date when the French Cameroons becomes an independent country. This has been settled and agreed upon. But in the British Cameroons, the issue is not so clear. This territory has been administered in conjunction with Nigeria, which itself is to become independent next year. The northern part of the British Cameroons wants to join with Nigeria. In the southern sector, opinion sharply divided. One group wants to join the French Cameroons, the other, Nigeria. In this conference room this morning are representatives of both points of view. One of them is Prime Minister Ahmed Ahidjo of the French Cameroons. He has brought his interpreter with him this morning. I'm going to ask the question and the interpreter will in turn ask Dr. Ahidjo. Would you give us your view on the problem which is currently before the General Assembly, sir?
Est-ce que, Monsieur le Président, vous voudriez leur donner votre point de vue au sujet du problème qui, à l'heure actuelle, est débattu par l'Assemblée générale?
Actuellement, il est question des deux Cameroun, sous tutelle française et britannique. Bien entendu, je suis les deux questions avec une grande attention, mais l'on comprendra que j'attache l'importance primordiale à la question du Cameroun français. Des résolutions sont déposées sur le bureau de la 4e commission et la commission déposée par les États-Unis, Haïti, l'Italie et d'autres nations ont reçu notre adhésion et j'ai l'espoir que cette résolution sera votée par la 4e commission et par l'Assemblée générale.
The Prime Minister says that of course he is here to follow the debate on both the French and British Cameroons, but it is understandable that he's more interested in the fate of the French Cameroons, of which he is the Prime Minister. And he says that various resolutions have been submitted to the 4th Committee, and he hopes that the resolution submitted by 5 nations, including the United States and Italy and Haiti, New Zealand, will receive the majority vote in the 4th Committee.
Thank you very much, sir. Another very important voice to be heard from is Prime Minister J.N. Foncha of the British Cameroons. How do you feel about this situation, sir?
I wish to thank the members of the United Nations television branch for having given me this opportunity to express my impression of the United Nations General Assembly convened purposely to hear Cameroon's future. Before I leave for the Southern Cameroons, I wish to express my deepest appreciation for the kind and friendly dispositions of everyone I have met at the United Nations. This opportunity has given me to thank them all, not only for myself but also for my honorable colleagues. The friendly atmosphere which characterizes the day-to-day business of the United Nations is in itself a contributing factor to the solution of the problems confronting the countries of the world. The solution of the difficulties delaying the progress of independence to the Cameroons as a whole has made good progress in view of the fact that the distinguished representatives are understanding what we want. The consideration to postpone some of the points presenting difficulty is a move in the right direction in view of the fact that before the 14th session assembles, more important information will be available. The course of the debate so far is encouraging because it is aiming to a kind of independence which will pave the way to the unity of Cameroon as a nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you both, gentlemen.
So that's the kind of leadership that has been guiding us. Foncha used the people of southern Cameroon to fight against the British and won. The people of southern Cameroon gave him what he wanted and he won. And that's how we ended with his own country, La République du Cameroon. I was going to say very apt, but this is not really where I should be saying that. But yes, we had nothing in there. We lost everything. And our case was the clearest case of independence or self-government. We had neither. So anybody who comes telling you that, oh, join La République du Cameroon and Tchiroma has said he's going to talk to us, and anybody who comes telling you about federation, we've already tried that. We already tried that. Like I've told you, Ambazonia is not, it's not one, La République has no power to make any determination in Ambazonia except be the force that runs the place for foreign powers. And the foreign powers' interest is to get whatever they can get from the topsoil and the below soil in Ambazonia. And there's a lot there. There's a lot in our undersoil. And so when you are approaching the situation in Ambazonia, don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Tchiroma has no power to give us a federation. We already tried federation, it failed. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on us. Do not allow Eric Chinje to influence you. Eric Chinje is an 11th province. His folks come from La République du Cameroon. He speaks English very well, but those are people who came, we gave them shelter, and they all turn against us. So my brothers, be very careful. So the vulnerability my sister is talking about is a vulnerability that comes from lack of leadership. It will be very difficult now. I don't know. I was going to say that it will be very difficult now for Ambazonians to reorganize themselves. But no, we are humans. We can reorganize. We can reorganize ourselves anytime and provide ourselves the leadership that we need. The leadership that we need to free ourselves from colonial occupation. We have been over a century occupied by other people. But I can tell you something. If we free ourselves in this last colonization, because we're an integral part of Nigeria, the British did that. But we extricated ourselves from that. We bungled the situation because we allowed it in the hands of foreigners. We accepted every foreigner who comes. I was reading a piece where they were saying that when the UN delegations in the 60s who came to see what's going on in southern Cameroon, they mostly spoke to people of La République who were in Kumba. Those were the people that were always consulting. Our people were very nonchalant. We're not organized. We have never been organized as Ambazonians. The first time we were actually organized as Ambazonians to fight our thing was when John Frundi ran the SDF. But then that too ended up with La République and with ended up with John Frundi and the CPDM holding one convention. A friend of mine who is an analyst on esteemed television in some of the last shows we've done said that the Amber Boys are the most strategic force that understands geopolitics, that understands what's going on, and I don't even think Amber Boys are even thinking about what's going on in La République. They are doing their thing. They are doing their thing. Those are the people who understand what it is. Even with the Amber Boys, they still need to organize themselves better, because they're still fighting village by village, tribe by tribe. We need to stop that. The reason why the Germans took over our fundums to create its own country, which is why when people say, oh, we're part of Germany, no, the Germans came and took fundums, independent sovereign fundums, and brought them together and create a territory which they lost. And then other foreign powers came in and carved out what they want. And so if somebody comes telling you, oh, we're part of a German territory, that's just a narrative that the colonizers want you to believe in so that they can colonize you. But the Amber Boys, before I lose my thoughts on that. So when the Germans came, we were in fundums. And they conquered one fundum, then another, and another, and another, and then created their country. If they came and were like Southern Cameroons or Ambazonia as we are today, and we fight as Ambazonian, we would have joined Chief Lekengi in Boya and fight them before the land. Troops would have come down from Kambe, Bafut, everywhere, and they fight the enemy at the shores of the Atlantic Ocean. But we were not organized that way. So the Amber Boys fighting tribe by tribe or village by village, it really doesn't work. I like the fight because they are proving that they can fight. But now we need a national leadership so that everybody joins, and now you can have a strategy. You can organize better. I'll tell you something. I talked about our national leadership not doing what they needed to have done, so that the struggle is fought strategically, is fought effectively, and then second, so that if they are not there, there's an organization which will be intergenerational. See, the ANC was started in 1912, but the ANC was the same organization that led the independence or the end of apartheid. Okay? The ANC was created in 1912, and it is the ANC. I'm not sure it was 1912, but definitely Sharpeville was 1912. But it continued until 1994. So in order to create a movement, so you create a movement. Don't come and create a group of people who think, I'm the president now, so we are going to liberate our country. No, you need to organize it so that when you're not there anymore, that organization continues. That organization continues. Okay? And for people who really want to know, go and read. You see that to create a movement, you need a charismatic leader, you need an ideology, and then you need finance. But if you don't have a charismatic leader who has an ideology, you will not have the rest coming. They can't even build a movement. So we need to reorganize ourselves. If we do, we will win. In fact, some people say that Ambazonia had already won the struggle, but they did not know. We didn't know. It's been the 9th year. You see, La Republique feels a little more confident now, talking about normalcy. No, there was a time when the villages were owned by the villagers. I mean, people from La Republique already packed and left. And now they're coming back again. We won, we didn't take over our victory, so La Republique now is talking about normalcy. My country people, we need to think twice. Because everybody has come and built a career on the backs of our people, on the problems of our people. Okay? Eric Chinje is building a career on the backs of our people. He must have told Tchiroma that I can deliver the Anglophones, like the callers. And so speak in English. Then you get the Ambazonians. They're already good fighters. I've seen other Francophones come and make strategies, talk about les Ambazonians, blah, blah, blah. No, Ambazonians will not fight La Republique's fight. La Republique is not different from Nigeria. They are not different from any other neighbor that we have. We need to concentrate. Look, we can always wish the people of La Republique well, because every other African country that frees itself is a good thing for Africa. So let's pray that La Republic can free itself well. Let's pray that Tchiroma succeeds and help his country. He's not the best candidate because we've heard Tchiroma before. We've heard him talk about things that he's apologizing for right now. But you know, who really wants to listen to a politician during the time of campaign? They make promises, some of which are unrealistic, but they're just looking for votes. And only people who are not very well led or who are not very well informed will look and say, yeah, I think you could deliver that. No, Tchiroma cannot deliver us our independence. He hasn't even promised it. He's talking about, oh, we will talk. We will free the prisoners. If France says no, it will not happen. Okay? Not in this process. La République will not be free from the grips of the colonial master through a ballot. It will not come through a ballot. Gbagbo tried coming through a ballot in Ivory Coast and did not succeed. I was listening to Traoré, and he says, you cannot fight a successful war with your soldiers that are trained by others. And so they took over the training of their soldiers. Gbagbo thought he had generals in Ivory Coast. When it came to the fighting, those generals got phone calls from the people who trained them. Lay your arms down, don't be part of it. And they did. And they picked up Gbagbo and treated him like a criminal and locked him in, at The Hague. That's a man who was running the country, but he had no control of the military. So if somebody tells you that Tchiroma... Look, I'll speak for myself. If somebody tells me that Tchiroma will gain the presidency of La République du Cameroon and actually be the president, a sovereign president whose only job is to take care of the people of La République du Cameroon through a ballot box, I will say, where's the beef? Because all I hear there is buns, no beef. I want to thank my sister for really making a wonderful video, saying it the way it is. And she talked about the people in the diaspora. The people in the diaspora are more like customers, okay? Let me take this opportunity to tell the people on the ground that build the organization that will liberate Ambazonia from the ground. The people in the diaspora, their attention span is that short because they have too many things going on in a country where they have everything and the ability to enjoy everything. Okay? So I've been attending events where they're playing the La République's national anthem. I saw a video clip. No, it wasn't a video clip. It was on a forum where one person came and said, oh, go watch the La République is playing now, and forwarded it. And I saw somebody come and said, you are telling us to go and watch the game of La République. And I looked at them like, you know what? We have some who don't understand what's going on or who we're fighting or who they should be rooting for. But there's some of our people who do understand. Okay? I go to matches where they play La République's national anthem. I don't know who crazy thought that they should be playing Cameroon anthem here. We're not in Cameroon here. It's so stupid. That's it. And I'm screaming by the side that what are you doing? We are not even in Cameroon. We are not in La République du Cameroon. We are not in the colony. So what are you really obligated to play the anthem of these people who are back there killing our people? And people don't get it. So the diaspora, please, For our people on the ground, you can listen to some voices coming from the diaspora, like my sister. I'm not saying the people in the diaspora are not patriotic. They are patriotic. The SDF was built from the money from the diaspora. We contributed to fund municipal elections, to fund all kinds of things from the United States. And Frundi knew how to do that very well. So there is money in the United States to support the struggle. But this struggle is a struggle for Ambazonians to organize themselves, fight it. I hear people say, any leadership down there will be, they cannot form a leadership down there. No, the Ambazonians, the Amba boys are leaders. They're living there. If they organize themselves well, they'll protect themselves even better. So the reasons why some of the people are no longer around, it's not because they couldn't protect themselves. It's just because of how we are organized. We are not even organized. The struggle has never been organized. So if the ground organizes itself, La Republique will not only give a fake special status, they will actually either be kicked out or they'll go and tell their masters, look, we're paying too much for protecting your territory for you. And then their masters will now say, you know what, maybe we should go to the Ambazonians for the rights to sell their oil and mine their minerals and run their CDC or buy products from the CDC. It is because we haven't taken over our own resources that we're in such a desperate situation. If we organize ourselves well with our fighting boys, we'll win. Any leader who has come and counted on the people of Southern Cameroons or on the people of Ambazonia, they have won. Foncha counted on the people of Southern Cameroons to beat the British idea of being part of Nigeria. He won. Frundi came and took the people of Southern Cameroon and challenged the dictator, the one-man dictator that was in Cameroon, and they gave in and created all these fake parties. But that was a capitulation to Frundi. Without Frundi, Cameroon would probably still be a one-party state today. I mean, they've had one person ruling for 43 years plus 7. That's tougher to do than say no parties. Okay? So whenever, and all of this came about, Cameroon would be a one-party state without the people of Ambazonia or without SDF, and SDF will not succeed without the people of Ambazonia. Anybody who has challenged the people, who has given the people of Ambazonia a challenge, the people of Ambazonia have not failed them. That's why you see Tchiroma speaking English, because he trusts that if he can get the Ambazonians, they will give him a boost that the triple population of La Republique will not give it to him. So my sister, that's why they come and speak in English. And you're absolutely right. You diagnose the situation well, and I hope that our people listen. I don't want to make this tape too long, but thanks for listening.